In the spotlight tonight is Rachel Leonard from Chalfont St Giles, a teacher, and her specialist subject is the life and work of Diego Velazquez. Ed Brims from Brimpton, a student whose subject is Pink Floyd. Neil Crockford from Colchester, a freelance translator, and he has chosen the poet George Crabb. And Dorothy Walker from Tottlington, a writer, and her specialist subject, the wines of the Loire Valley. Hello and welcome to Mastermind with me, John Humphreys. It's the second round stage, which means that tonight's four contenders are battling it out for a place in our grand final. It also means that one of them could well be the next Mastermind. They're that close. For those of you that need reminding, here's how it works. Each contender has chosen a specialist subject. That's the first round, 2 minutes. Second round is based on general knowledge questions, 2 minutes again. Easy. So let's have our first contender, please. And your name is?
Rachel Leonard.
Your occupation?
Teacher.
And your chosen subject?
The life and works of Diego Velazquez.
Diego Velazquez, in 2 minutes, starting now. To which painter was Velazquez formerly apprenticed as a boy from late 1610?
Pacheco.
Yes. In Three Musicians, or musical trio of 1617 to 18, what sort of creature is behind the young boy?
A monkey.
Yes, he is. What is the Spanish title of the painting of the National Gallery in London, which depicts Philip IV hunting boar in an enclosure?
La Tela Real.
Correct. In which city did Velazquez paint Maria of Hungary, who was on her way to meet her new husband, Ferdinand III?
Naples.
Yes. In 1633, Velazquez's daughter, Francisca, married which painter, who was also a pupil of and assistant to the artist?
Juan del Mazo.
Yes. Which work depicting a scene from Ovid's Metamorphoses was painted during his stay in Rome around 1630?
The Forge of Vulcan.
Correct. The so-called Rokeby Venus painting came from which family's collection at Rokeby Hall in Yorkshire?
The Morit family.
Yes. Who sat for Velazquez in 1650 and was reputed to greatly like his completed portrait, though he said it was too truthful?
Pope Innocent X.
Yes. In the surrender of Breda, which general is receiving the key of the city from Justin of Nassau?
Ambrosio Spinola.
Yes. What scene is pictured on the tapestry in the background of Las Hilanderas, or the Fable of Arachne?
The Rape of Europa.
Correct. The Peace of the Pyrenees was signed on which piece of land in the Bidasoa River, with Velazquez deeply involved organising the event?
The Isle of Pheasants.
Yes. Who commissioned Velazquez two early court paintings of Philip IV and Count Duke Olivares in 1624?
Juan de Fonseca.
No, Ipeñarieta. Which Seville-born cleric was the first recorded owner of the water cellar or water carrier?
Fonseca.
Yes. What was the name of Velazquez's servant and pupil of part Muslim descent, whom he painted in 1650 as a prelude to his portrait of the Pope?
Juan de Perea.
Correct. Which of his mythological paintings in the Alcazar was saved when the palace was gutted by fire in 1734?
Mercury and Argus.
Yes. Which so-called buffoon with squinting eyes did Velazquez paint in the late 1620s and again in 1639?
Francisco Lezcano.
No, Calabasas. No passes. Rachel Leonard, you have 14 points. And our next contender, please. And your name is?
Ed Brims.
Occupation?
A student.
And your chosen subject?
Pink Floyd.
Pink Floyd, in 2 minutes. Which member of Pink Floyd refused to lip-sync to their songs on the television show Dick Clark's American Bandstand in October 67?
Sid Barrett.
Yes. By March 1966, the band were regular performers at which London club's spontaneous underground sessions held on Sunday afternoons?
Pass.
Which track on the Wish You Were Here album was sung by Roy Harper?
Have a Cigar.
Correct. In which city did the band perform the first concert of their momentary lapse of reason tour in September 1987?
London.
Ottawa. What was the name of the film which included footage of a live Pink Floyd appearance and was premiered in Edinburgh in September 72?
Live at Pompeii.
Yes. For which track released in '94 did the band win a Grammy for Best Rock Instrumental Performance?
Marooned.
Correct. The name Pink Floyd is said to have been derived from the names of which two blues singers?
Pink Anderson and Floyd Council.
Correct. Who co-wrote a number of the lyrics on the '94 album The Division Bell and went on to marry David Gilmour?
Polly Sampson.
Correct. The group's soundtrack to which Barbet Schroeder film reached number 9 in the UK album charts in '69?
More.
Yes. The voice of Stephen Hawking is featured on which track of The Division Bell?
Keep Talking.
Correct. What was the name of the projected Pink Floyd album which would not have featured any musical instruments and was abandoned in '73?
The Mass Gadgets of Auximines.
No, Household Objects. What was the title of the band's third single, which failed to reach either the American or UK charts on its release in November '67?
Apples and Oranges.
Correct. What subtitle did Roger Waters give to the Final Cut album?
A Requiem for the Post-War Dream.
Yes. Which was the first Pink Floyd album to top both the UK and the American album charts?
Wish You Were Here.
Yes. The title of the album, Piper at the Gates of Dawn, was taken from which book, a favourite of Syd Barrett's?
The Wind and the Willows.
Yes. Who produced the band's first official single, Arnold Lane, which was recorded at the Sound Technique studio in February '67?
Norman Smith.
Joe Boyd. Which song was Syd Barrett's only composition on the album Saucerful of Secrets?
Jug Band Blues.
Correct. In July '89, in which city did Pink Floyd play a gig on a giant barge that was televised worldwide?
Beijing.
Venice. You had one pass. It was the Marquee Club, where they played regularly on Sundays. One pass, Ed Brims, 13 points. And our next contender, please. And your name is?
Neil Crockford,
Your occupation?
freelance translator.
And your chosen subject?
The life and works of George Crabb.
The poet George Crabb in 2 minutes. The verse of which of Crabb's works begins, "The year revolves and I again explore the simple annals of my parish poor"?
The parish register.
Correct. In 1799, whom did Crabb contact to be his publisher when he thought about resuming his career as a poet after an interval of about 15 years?
Hatchard.
Yes. Which politician whom Crabb had previously unsuccessfully petitioned for financial aid later atoned for ignoring his work by giving him £100 at their first meeting?
Lord Thurlow.
Yes. Who was the publisher of the Ladies' Magazine in which Crabb's prize-winning poem On Hope appeared in September 1772?
John Weeble.
Yes. According to George Crabb, the poet's son and biographer, which poem of nearly 450 lines was written at one sitting during a snowstorm in 1804?
Eustace Gray.
Yes. In The Borough, what is the name of Peter Grimes' first apprentice, whom the fisherman found lifeless in his bed?
John Binns.
Sam. At which pond on Marsh Hill did Crabb resolve to go to London in pursuit of a literary career towards the end of 1779?
The Marsh Pond.
Leech Pond. How much did John Murray pay him in 1819 for the copyright of Tales of the Hall and all his previous works?
£3,000.
Yes, during his first stay in London in 1776, Crabb narrowly escaped arrest as a resurrectionist after his landlady found what in his room?
A dead baby.
Yes. Who suggested a substantial amendment to 6 lines of The Village, which led Crabb to revise it before publication?
Dr. Johnson.
Yes. Which of his friends introduced the 18-year-old Crabb to his future wife, Sarah Elmy?
William Levitt.
Correct. To whom did he write for his opinion in 1812 after being asked to contribute to a book of Scotch psalmody by Alexander Brunton?
Sir Walter Scott.
Yes. Which of his works did he dedicate to Lord Thurlow, saying, "I cannot suppress the pride I have in thus publishing my gratitude"?
The Village.
The newspaper. In his journal of June 1780, whom did Crabb record he'd seen being drawn through the streets of London in a coach by a mob of his supporters towards Alderman Bull's?
Lord George Gordon.
Correct. Crabb left Belvoir to become curate of which parish following the Duke of Rutland's departure to become Lord Lieutenant of Ireland?
He became curate of...
Take a guess.
yes.
We're out of time.
Of Sweffling.
Stuthern.
Stuff.
No passes. Neil Crockford, 11 points. And our final contender, please. And your name is?
Dorothy Walker,
Your occupation?
writer.
And your chosen subject?
Wines of the Loire Valley.
Wines of the Loire Valley in 2 minutes. Which town is the centre of the Loire sparkling wine industry, as well as being home to a famous cavalry school?
Saumur.
Correct. What name is given to the soft limestone around Vouvray, which is ideal for cellars to mature wine?
Tufo.
Correct. Who owns the Château de Tigné, where the cuvées Mozart and Serrano are made?
Pass.
Which grape commonly blended with Gamay is usually the dominant variety in Rosé d'Anjou?
Cabernet Franc.
Grolot. Produced by a handful of communes around Évre, which rare wine is made from 3 Pinot grape varieties, Meunier, Gris and Loire?
Pass.
Which of the Puy Fumé, for which Didier Daguenot is famous, is known by a Latin name meaning flint?
Pass.
The appellation Côte Cheverny was specially created for which white grape, now unique to the Loire?
Grosse plant.
Romorantin. Who produces wine entirely by biodynamic principles at his vineyard of Culée de Serran in Savinière?
Nicolas Joly.
Yes. Which appellation is a sweet white wine produced by Château de Fel that dates back to medieval times?
Bonnezo.
Yes. What is the name of the oldest appellation in the Loire region, which includes the commune of Brinay?
Pass.
Puy-sur-Loire is a dry white wine that is principally made from which grape?
Chenin Blanc.
Chasselas. Which vineyard or clos owned by Charlie and Nadi Foucault produces oak-fermented Saumur Champigny wines?
Pass.
Which term on the labels of many muscadets indicate that the finished wine has been left on its sediment after fermentation?
Surly.
Correct. In which French town does an annual Loire Valley Wine Festival take place with the Part des Mini-Châteaux?
Pass.
I shall tell you it's Amboise. And your other passes, the vineyard owned by Charlie and Nadi Foucault is Clos Rougeat. The name of the oldest appellation, Quincy. The Puy-Fumé, for which Didier Daguenot is famous, is Silex. The rare wine made from 3 Pinot grape varieties, Noble Jouet. And the chap who owns Château de Tigné is Gérard Depardieu. 6 passes altogether, Dorothy Walker. You have 5 points. So that's the first round. Let's have a look at the scores. In 4th place with 5 points is Dorothy Walker. 3rd place, 11 points, Neil Crockford. 2nd place with 13 points, Ed Brims. In 1st place with 14 points, Rachel Leonard. So we move on to our general knowledge round now, and if there's a tie at the end of this round, then the number of passes will be taken into account. Let's get on with it and ask Dorothy Walker to join us again, if she would, please. And at least you chose a subject that you probably got some pleasure from researching, the wines of the Loire Valley.
Yes, and that is one reason why I chose it.
What is it about the Loire Valley that makes it so special?
I like the grapes, particularly the reds, which are certainly not very common in this country.
No, it's the whites that we'd have identified, yeah?
Yes, very much so. And it makes more white than red. But Cabernet Franc is one of my favourites, and you don't get it very much anywhere else.
Do you get through a lot, then? I mean,
I'm not going to say.
Well, you're looking well on it, even if you do. I mean,
I don't drink much else. I do enjoy a glass
you don't bother
of
with
wine.
water and stuff like that, do you?
No.
Right, well, let's see how you do with your general knowledge. 5 points so far. Let's see how you get on with this. Which Chancellor to Henry VIII did the Pope proclaim as the patron saint of statesmen and politicians in 2000?
Thomas More?
Yes. What term was used in the 1950s for a person in sympathy with the Communist Party but not a card-carrying member?
Pinko?
Fellow traveller. Which Nobel Peace Prize winner resigned in September 2001 as leader of the SDLP in Northern Ireland because of serious health problems?
Pass.
What is the surname of Louisa M. Alcott's Little Women?
March.
Yes. Bruschetta, consisting of toasted or grilled sourdough bread rubbed with garlic and drenched with oil, originated in which region of Italy?
Tuscany?
Correct. Which of the apostles was crucified head downward because he claimed he was not worthy to die in the same manner as Christ?
Judas?
St. Peter. A Good Woman, starring Helen Hunt and Scarlett Johansson, is a film version of which Oscar Wilde play and also the play's original title?
Lady Audley's Secret?
Lady Windermere's fan. Which diamond, weighing about 3,106 carats when discovered in 1905 at the Premier Mine near Pretoria, is the largest uncut diamond ever found?
Kuano?
The Cullinan. In which city is there an area called Desire which provided the title for a streetcar named Desire?
San Francisco.
New Orleans. Who, according to the official legend, was expelled from Tiflis Theological College in 1899 for revolutionary activity?
Pass.
Which English painter who lived from 1877 to 1970 is best known for her colourful scenes of circus life and the ballet?
Laura Knight.
Yes, in which television comedy series of the 70s did the hero have the middle name Iolanthe, making his initials R.I.P.?
Reggie Perrin.
Yes, which cocktail consists of white rum, coconut and pineapple juice?
Pina Colada.
Yes, which violinist took Vivaldi's Four Seasons into the album charts in 1989?
Nigel Kennedy.
Yes, the name of which science, I've started so I shall finish, is derived from the Greek word for herb or pasture?
Agriculture.
Botany.
Yes.
You had 2 passes. Joseph Stalin, believe it or not, was expelled from that theological college. And John Hume had to resign as leader of the SDLP. 2 passes, you've a total, Dorothy Walker, of 12 points.
Yeah, thank you.
And now Neil Crockford, please. And you chose George Crabb, a poet who's not terribly well known, it's fair to say.
Not so well known as he was in his lifetime, that's true to say.
Which was a long time ago.
Well, turn of the 18th, 19th century.
What was his skill? What was his great strength as a poet?
His great strength, I would say, was his detailed description of people and places, particularly the poor, and particularly not particularly picturesque places.
What was his famous, the poem that...
Well, the one that
really
everyone
made it
knows
was the Borough,
is the section of the borough that deals with Peter Grimes.
which we now know for different reasons.
Yes, we now know because of Benjamin Britten's opera, which doesn't always bear very much resemblance to Crabb's poem. But,
Really?
For Britten, certainly, Grimes's tragedy is that he is the outsider. For Crabb, he was an outsider and jolly well deserved to be.
Right, well, you had 11 points with him. Let's see how you do with general knowledge. Which award-winning British film had its successful premiere as a stage musical in May 2005 with music by Elton John?
Oh, pass.
By what name was Mount Garmo in Tajikistan known when it was the highest point in the Soviet Union?
Mount Stalin.
Yes, also known as Mount Communism. In World War II, what single word did General Macauliffe reply when ordered to surrender Bastogne by the Germans?
Nuts.
Yes, in 1809, which American author wrote a comic history of the Dutch in New York using the pen name Diedrich Knickerbocker?
Washington Irving.
Yes, in which European country did women finally win the right to vote in national elections after a referendum held in February 71?
Switzerland.
Correct. Which rank in the British Army is equivalent to the naval rank of Commodore and the RAF rank of Air Commodore?
Brigadier.
Correct. Of which bird are Barnacle, Brent and Canada all species?
Or geese.
Yes, which advertising slogan suggesting the illicit delights of eating cream does Salman Rushdie claim to have written while working in advertising?
Naughty but nice.
Correct. Which greenish gas and its compounds are used in the paper and textile industries for bleaching and also for disinfecting municipal water supplies?
Chlorine.
Correct. Which islands do the Argentinians refer to as Las Malvinas?
The Falklands.
Correct. Which Deputy Defence Secretary did President Bush nominate as President of the World Bank in March 2005?
Pass.
Which French philosopher wrote, "Man was born free and everywhere he is in chains"?
Rousseau.
Correct. Which extinct members of the cat family got their name from the pair of elongated blade-like teeth they possessed in their upper jaw?
Saber-toothed tigers.
Correct. Which film comedian's career was halted after a sensational trial for rape and manslaughter in the early 20s, although he was later acquitted?
Fatty Arbuckle.
Correct. Which Olympic athletics event takes place over the longest distance?
The 50-kilometre walk.
Yes, in an Italian town, which building is known as Il Municipio or Il Palazzo Comunale?
The town hall.
Correct. In which town is North Fall Meadow, where Louis Blériot crash-landed his monoplane after his historic cross-channel flight?
In Dover.
Dover is correct. You had 2 passes. Paul Wolfowitz became president of the World Bank. And Billy Elliot was that great film, so they say, that became a great musical, so they say. 2 passes, you have a total, Neil Crockford, of 26 points. And now Ed Brims, please. Pink Floyd, a bit young for Pink Floyd.
Yeah, no, it's a bit sad, isn't it? So I only discovered them actually quite recently after I got to university. I sort of came across the dark side of the moon there, and I was really quite surprised to find there had been such good music in the 70s, because I'd always really thought of the 70s as just a bit of a wasteland of just cheese and glam rock and ABBA, and it was quite a surprise to find this incredible sort of complex stuff you could just listen to again and again, keep getting new things out of it.
There is an extraordinary story about Pink Floyd and an inflatable pig.
Yes, there is. When they were doing the cover for their album Animals, they thought it would be a great idea to have a picture of a pig flying over Battersea Power Station.
An inflatable pig, I mean.
Yes, exactly. I mean, what most people might have done would just be to draw a picture of a pig onto a picture of Battersea Power Station, but they were thinking big, so they actually got a giant inflatable pig, filled it up with helium, got industrial cables, and they were hoisting it up there to take the pictures when suddenly the cables gave way and the pig floated off. And this was 1977, so they were a bit worried that it was going to float over to Soviet-controlled land and start off a nuclear war or something like that.
Right.
And there was this huge international incident until it finally landed in a field in Germany. So after all that effort, they...
At least briefly, pigs did fly.
They did, very briefly, yes.
Yes, well, they were, maybe still are, very successful, and you got 13 points with them. Let's see how you do with general knowledge. Starting now. Rising in southern Nevada, the Amargosa River flows into which valley in California?
Death Valley.
Correct. Which large beetle gets its name from its well-developed antler-like jaws?
Stag beetle.
Yes, the words "That's all, folks," which appeared at the end of Warner Brothers cartoons, are carved on the tombstone of which voice of many of the characters?
Mel Blanc.
Yes, which writer was appointed Master of Ceremonies for the visit of George IV to Edinburgh in 1822?
Johnson.
Walt Scott. Which American composer wrote the music of the films Close Encounter of the Third Kind, Jaws and Star Wars?
John Williams.
Yes, which Asian capital city is served by Kimpo Airport?
Taipei.
Seoul. For which constituency was Peter Mandelson, Member of Parliament from 92 until 2004?
Pass.
In mathematics, what name derived from the Latin for deaf is given to an irrational number, especially the irrational root of an integer?
Absurd.
Yes, which dinosaur with a name meaning thunder lizard is now known as Apatosaurus?
Brontosaurus.
Correct. In which operetta does Adele sing the so-called laughing song Mein Herr Marquis?
Pass.
Which oil-rich sultanate is an enclave within the Malaysian state of Sarawak?
Brunei.
Correct. In Greek mythology, who was the queen of the Amazon, sometimes known as Antiope, whose girdle Heracles had to take?
Hippolyte.
Correct. Which 1968 film starring Jane Fonda was set in the 41st century and featured Milo O'Shea as the villain Duran Duran?
Buck Rogers.
Barbarella, who in a speech made in 1922 said, "Non-violence is the first article of my faith, it is also the last article of my creed"?
Gandhi.
Yes, which chemical element takes its name from the Greek for violet, the colour of its vapour?
Iodine.
Yes, Tom Cruise, John Travolta and Lisa Marie Presley are all members of which cult religion?
Scientology.
Yes, which writer won the 2004 Booker Prize with his novel The Line of Beauty?
J.M. Coetzee.
Alan Hollingsworth. Originally meaning joint sovereignty, what word is used in North America for an apartment block in which each apartment is separately owned?
Condominium.
Correct. Which branch of the Jewish diaspora speak an archaic version, I finished the question, of Castilian Spanish called Ladino?
The Yiddites.
Sephardic Jews. 2 passes. Die Fledermaus was the operetta in which Adele sings, and Peter Mandelson was the MP for Hartlepool. 2 passes. Ed Brims, 25 points. And finally, Rachel Leonard, please. So you chose a great artist.
Yes, definitely.
Velazquez. What made him so great?
I think the fact that he could look at somebody and represent them so accurately and so enlighteningly on canvas.
He wanted to be a great painter and a great gentleman, apparently.
Yes, and unfortunately, I think he spent quite a lot of his life actually pursuing the second aim to the detriment of the first, really.
What, trying to be in court and all that sort of thing?
Yes, he did certainly throw himself into jobs like providing artwork for Philip, going to Italy to find paintings that would enhance the king's reputation, all of which meant that he didn't have the time to spend actually painting himself, which would have been, I think, for posterity a better deal, probably.
Some argued that he had little imagination because he had a subject and painted the subject, and that was that.
Who needs imagination if you can paint
Well.
reality so well, really? You know, some of the art books do say that his imagination was in the concept of how he set up his subjects and how he saw them and how he represented them. And that is an imaginative talent.
Right, you have 14 points. The score to beat is 26 points. Let's see if you can do it. In the Bible, who was travelling to the city of Tarshish when he was thrown overboard by his shipmates in a storm?
Jonah.
Yes, Alexander Graham Bell invented a crude form of what device in 1881 in an attempt to find the bullet that shot President Garfield?
Telephone.
No, metal detector. Felis sylvestris is the scientific name of which native British mammal?
Badger.
Wild cat. What word did Spike Milligan use for anyone he regarded as a lovable, interesting idiot, having supposedly discovered it in a Popeye cartoon?
Pass.
Which 19th century novelist wrote The Way We Live Now about the downfall of Augustus Melmotte, a crooked financier?
Trollope.
Yes. Which singer-songwriter was booed off the stage at the Newport Folk Festival in July '65 for using electric instruments?
Bob Dylan.
Yes. Which word meaning field in Dutch has come to be used in South Africa for uncultivated country or open grassland?
Veldt.
Yes. In the television series Open All Hours, what's the name of Arkwright's assistant and nephew, played by David Jason?
Granville.
Correct. By what title is the Duchess of Cornwall known when she is in Scotland?
Duchess of Argyll.
The Duchess of Rothesay. At the end of 2004-05 season, which West London Rugby Union club were relegated from the Zurich Premiership for the first time in their history?
Saracens.
Harlequins. Which American playwright was the father-in-law of Charlie Chaplin?
Eugene O'Neill.
Yes. Which film actor's first major role was as the baleful gangster Duke Mantee in The Petrified Forest in 1936?
Edward G. Robinson.
Humphrey Bogart. The 12 o'clock turn is a term used to describe a perfect performance in which Highland Games sport?
Tossing the caper.
Yes. What was the name of the friar who secretly married Romeo and Juliet?
Friar Lawrence.
Yes. Which organisation located in Liverpool is known by the initial CRB?
Pass.
On a hill above which Dorset village is there a carving of a naked giant, possibly a fertility symbol of unknown date?
Sir Nabas.
Correct. Which Gilbert and Sullivan opera has the alternative title The Witch's Curse?
Ruddigore.
Correct. Fragaria vesca is the botanical name for the wild or woodland variety, I'll finish the question, of which soft fruit? Take a guess at it.
Strawberry.
Strawberry is correct.
Yeah.
2 passes. Criminal Records Bureau is what CRB stands for. And goon is the word Spike Milligan used. 2 passes. Rachel Leonard, 25 points. So, at the end of the contest, let's have a look at the scores. In 4th place with 12 points, Dorothy Walker. Joint 2nd place with 25 points, Rachel Leonard and Ed Brims. In 1st place, he just held on, 26 points, Neil Crockford. So we shall be seeing Neil Crockford when he takes his place in our grand final. Congratulations to him. Do join us next time for more Masterminds. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.
Kicking off a glorious summer of music with work inspired by the sea. The proms begin later. The first night is here at 8. Up next today on BBC Two, the A to Z of TV gardening.